Yeah, so I'm back on White Lake, and after looking at the footage that I shot a week ago, you got some real high quality shots of the underneath of my beard while I was talking, so that'll be coming up like in 20 seconds, so sorry about that, but I'm not going to repeat all that nonsense. Too busy out here farting around. Okay, right now I'm just kayaking around on my lunch break at a place called White Lake. It's in Hardwick Township, New Jersey. It's unbelievably clear water, and they call it White Lake because the bottom is made up of something called marl, and I think it's mollusk shells, and clay, and it's just mixed together. It gives it a very white appearance. Just take a look. So that's it right there. As the water gets deeper, it's harder to see, but the lake itself is not huge. I want to say the lake itself is a little less than 100 acres. There's cool hiking right over there, actually. There's the remnants of a huge ice house and lime processing plant where they used to take this marl stuff and put it in a lime kiln. So there's some pretty cool, like, century-old ruins, which is pretty neat. But anyway, yeah, just out kayaking around. I have a long lunch break today, 3 hours, so this is not too far from where I work. So yeah, I'm gonna get out here. Not too many people would come out here and kayak, although there's a few people here. But there's bigger lakes around, like Schwartzwood Lake is right up the road, much bigger. Still nice, but little Schwartzwood is there too. But this is closer to work, and it's unusually clear. I mean, this water right here is like probably 4 or 5 feet deep, and obviously you can see right to the bottom. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Very exciting, right? I probably would have went back to Schwartzwood, but the state of New Jersey has closed down all their parks, so can't do that. And supposedly they have some kind of algae problem there that they were going to close it down anyway. I think mainly just the beach. I don't know about the kayaking part or canoeing. You probably can't make it out too well on camera, but the bow is basically pointing right at the ranger's house. He gets to live up there. That's probably one of the best spots in New Jersey to live, really. There's some fish in here. Sunnies, I think trout are in here. You can fish, but only off only out of a boat. You can't fish off the shoreline. Way across the street where that red barn and the stone house are, I believe that was the Voss family. V-A-S-S, I think is their name. They're one of the first Dutch settlers in this region back in, I want to say the early 1600s, but again, I'm going by memory, so if you're really interested, it's best to look that stuff up. Now, this is my personal kayak. But I think on Tuesdays and Thursdays or something, the Ridge and Valley Conservatory or somebody brings a bunch of kayaks, and it's first come, first served. You can take kayaks out here if you want. Again, this isn't really like a huge lake, but you can definitely kill an hour or so here. Paddle around, relax. that assumes you're not fishing. If you're fishing, you could probably kill all day here. So yeah, this was like a very high production lime kiln and lime processing area. If you ever hike, the ruins are really fantastic. There's no roof anymore, but it's all stone and brick. Really, really tremendous little piece of history. Even people that live around here, I don't even think know where it is. But yeah, this was for fertilizer. I think they used to make huge, huge, huge thing. In fact, they put a railroad spur to come out just to pick up all this stuff. Although there is a rail trail close by, so the railroad tracks were fairly close. I spoke before about the bottom being made up of clay and freshwater mollusk shells. So there's the shells, at least from one mollusk. Look at him go! I should have brought my Faux Pro out here. I would have gotten some underwater shots. So yeah, there's obviously snapping turtles in here. I've seen some sunnies, or I think some places around the country call them bluegills. There's trout in here. I saw a catfish on the downslope because the water's really clear. He's probably like 10 feet down. He's just like laying there on the bottom, whiskers and stuff. You know, all kinds of stuff in here. It's pretty cool. Yep. So there you go. A little bit of wildlife. I know that thrills you, right? I don't know why I'm filming this stupid stuff. When I first got out here, there wasn't hardly a cloud in the sky, but we're expecting thunder showers later this afternoon. You can definitely see them forming out there to the west. Speaking of the west, about 5 miles due west of here, you have what's called the Kittatinny Ridge. It's the ridge in New Jersey that the Appalachian Trail is on. It runs generally north-south, and eventually you get to High Point State Park. The Appalachian Trail makes a hard 90-degree right-hand turn and heads due east over to like Wawayanda and New York State and stuff. But yeah, you know, you can't see the ridge from here because we're already fairly high, but yeah, the ridge is right there, and then the Delaware River, and then Pennsylvania, of course, and that's where the weather normally comes from. You know, it comes from the southwest or west generally. And yeah, I mean no offense by calling Pennsylvania Pennsylvania. It's, you know, plenty of times I wish I lived in Pennsylvania instead of New Jersey. Trust me on that one. But yeah, it's pretty cool to see these clouds form up. It's been pretty relaxing out here. I've been out here for a couple hours. What kind of gear do I normally take when I'm kayaking? Well, besides the kayak and these paddles, Perception paddles, I'm not really that brand conscious, but got a little sponge, a little inflatable bag for my paddle in case I gotta make an outrigger to get back in after a dismount. Little pump, village pump. Not really necessary on a day like today, but of course I always bring water. Had a little snack bar which I ate. My Crocs. Sometimes I wear Tevas, but Crocs mainly. I have a Sea to Summit dry bag, which is open. Carries my wallet, You guys like how I put my finger right in front of the stupid thing? It's so sunny out here, I can't see what I'm doing. The Sea to Summit dry bag, I keep my wallet, my cell phone, my camera, keys, that kind of stuff in there. Generally I wear long pants, long sleeve shirt, all synthetic stuff that's quick drying. I wear a boonie hat, sunglasses. I'm wearing mechanics gloves. Not so much for grip or for blisters or anything like that. Hang on, I'm about to drift into some stuff I'm not supposed to be drifting into. Hang on. Okay, where was I? Yeah, I wear the mechanics gloves, just like the long pants, the boonie hat, and the long sleeve shirt for SPF. I'm not always good about putting the chemicals on, but I'm a fair-skinned, fair-haired kind of guy. I'm also wearing a PFD, as you probably have seen. I grew up on a lake until I was about 10 years old. And then after that, my parents moved to a house where they actually still live, which is weird in this day and age. But yeah, we have a pool, in-the-ground pool. So I'm a pretty good swimmer. I would say better than average, even as a pudgy middle-aged guy. So I'm not really worried about falling in and not being able to get either A, back in the boat, or B, get to shore. But, I'm old. A tree branch could fall on me. I could get hit in the head. I could have a heart attack and roll over, whatever. So yeah, I wear my PFD. Now, and also to set a good example for the children. Unlike my wife, who doesn't wear her PFD most times, unless we're out in rough water. So yeah, that's basically my kayaking gear. Sometimes I bring along an extra paddle, depends on what I'm doing. But for the most part, I got what I need. You guys want to know a little bit about my boat? It's a Loon 138 from Old Town. My wife and I each have one, and now mainly the kids use these. My wife and I share a tandem Loon 16T, it's called. This boat's probably, we got it before we had kids, so it's probably 17 or 18 years old. It gets kept in my barn, so it's not all faded with the sun, but it's seen like a fair amount of use. It's a good boat. Never had any issues with it, really. Not that there's much that can really go wrong.